Okay, 2000 Yukon XL 2500, typical engine oil lines weeping at the connections. So I figured I might as well change them. Looked at a lot of videos online about dropping pumpkins and engine mounts, loosening a jack. You don't need to do any of that, trust me. All I did was obviously took the lower shields off, took the lower and the upper shroud out and the fan. Real easy. And I'll give you a key to getting this off without having to take the belt or strap wrench. I have a real large adjustable wrench. You put it on there and then take a hammer and just give the wrench a quick whack, and it'll break this loose so easy. And then you just spin it off, and then when you put it back on, just make sure this is nice and clean, so if you ever have to take it off again, it'll come up. But I've always used that method for taking these fans off, and it never had an issue. So anyway, that's off. And you'll see under here, there's a lot of room to work. And the only thing is I have this whole thing on ramps. I don't even have it on jack stands, and there's plenty of room to work underneath it. I would just put some cardboard in front, and I'll tell you why I did that, because when I tried to put the new lines through, they hit that, and I don't want to put any, ruin the radiator. So let me show you what I tried to use. So Dorman came up with their new and improved design, right, which is, a synthetic inside, and you'll see that hose is fairly thin. I'm sure it'll take the temperature, and then the braiding outside. And you're going to realize the reason I cut it was, you'll notice this is the lower part, completely different than from the OEM. The OEM ones came out so easy, intact. I didn't even have to cut the hoses, which I'm glad I didn't. They slid right out the back. I did drop the front drive shaft just to rest it on the exhaust. Just gives you more room. You really don't have to, but I'd rather have that little extra room, and it's just easy to do. There's 4 bolts. Just mark the way the universal was in there, so you reassemble it the same way, and the saddles. But anyway, so that's done. So I removed this, and you'll see this is the top piece, right? This is the top piece on your old ones. This, somehow, there's a note saying refer to 2002 to kind of upgrade this. I bent this to hell trying to get it to fit the top and not hit the shroud and everything, and I got so frustrated. This was much straighter. It wasn't too bad passing it through, just took a little time. And I read somewhere, somebody said, when you're laying underneath, feed it through and then reach your hand through, and you should be able to feel it and work it through. And I did, but you have to make sure as you feed this through, it turns and goes up. Because if it goes down, there's not enough room to swing it back up. The transmission cooler lines are on one side, and then it's just not enough so when you feed it through, you've got to go up. But I'm going to tell you this right now, don't waste your goddamn time on these things. I just, there was no way I could get this to fit. And couldn't find that bolt in anywhere. So I ordered these 2 years ago, so there was no way I'm going to return them. I should have looked in the box when I got it. I would have returned them then. So I just cut them and pulled them out of there. I was just getting aggravated. So what I did with the old one is, you'll see, I just ground off on each side the aluminum crimp very carefully. Don't go too deep. You don't want to hit the metal piece under here. And it's just aluminum, and you can pry it once you cut on each side, just pry it off with a screwdriver, and don't worry about getting it down here. Get it just as close, and it'll crack. It'll pop completely off, and you'll see when you remove it, there are some barbs there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brake line flaring tool. This is 1/2 inch, and just flare that out a little bit so it has a better grip when it's in the hose. So when you put a clamp here, it'll kind of prevent it from popping off. I don't think it will, but I just want to play it safe. So what I did was went down and got, this is Gates hose, 27066 part number. It's transmission oil cooler line. A lot of people say, well, engine oil is a little different, stuff like that, because of the gas. But it's a synthetic interior, so I think it's going to be oil proof no matter what. So working pressure 450 psi, and it'll handle up to 275 degrees plus temperature around it. Plus, it says this is a neoprene coating to prevent UV and insulate the hose from damage and abrasion. So it's pretty robust built. So I'm just going to cut 2 sections, put them on here, put the old assembly back in, and I think it'll be good to go. Just keep an eye on it, and hoses wear out. Now I could just change them without even have to take them out. Just crawl underneath. So hope this helps. Okay. Oh yeah, one more thing. After I'm done with this, I'm going to spend all the time I have left to build a time machine to go back in time when the GM engineers thought, hey, this is a great design for an oil cooler. Yeah, let's implement this, and just slap him in the head and then destroy the time machine. Okay.